Welcome to the new Industrialists. We're here at the show floor at Ignite, and I'm here with Johannes Bernstein, PLM strategist, working at Krones. Johannes, it's really nice to have you here.
Thank you, Adam, for introduction and for invitation here. I'm very glad to be here, and let's talk a little bit about AI.
So, first, maybe tell me a little bit about Krones. Not everybody knows your company, but it's an amazing organization, and everybody probably is familiar with it in some way. So, what does it do? What does your company do?
Yeah, Krones is the biggest company in the world for liquid beveraging in machinery, and we are doing machines for liquid food manufacturing, whole lines, but only machines as well for labeling, filling, and packaging of bottling. And we are very familiar as well with the newest technology of AI.
And we all have experienced your company, because as we drink pretty much any beverage around the world, your machines are the ones that are packaging and putting liquids in those bottles.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Every fourth bottle on the world, statistically, is running over a Krones line, and so our impact on the whole customer in the world is very big. And if you go to supermarket and buy cans or bottles, you will maybe get one which runs over our lines.
So now that's a very traditional business. You're building a really complicated machines. But now what I understand is you're trying to rethink your business model because of what AI can provide to you. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. You have to see that our lines are very complex, and always a part of these lines, about 20-30%, is customer oriented. So every line ordered from the customer has a specific part which never built before. And this complexity is huge, and so we have to think about how we can get this complexity handling.
So really, you're building custom machines for each of your customers?
Yeah, that's true, because every plant on the world has a different building or something like that. And so you have always to fit in our lines in the buildings, and so every part can be different. And that's a very high challenge for our machineries.
I can imagine it's like building, an airplane. It's like being a Boeing of bottling. But then what happens once those machines land with customers? Do you still have control with them? Is there a way for you to interact and make the operations of customers easier? Mm-hmm. Or do you end your operations at the time when you sell and deliver a machine?
Yeah, that's a very good question. At the moment, there's a change. In early years, last 20 years, it was more like having the best line brought to the customer, and that's it. But in the last years, we have a change there, that the customer demands for a whole solution, implementing in his environment. And at the end, it's not only about the best line, it's about the best KPIs, like overall equipment effectiveness. That means that the line runs all the day, that the quality is nearly perfect, we have no waste. And there you get to technical borders where you have limits, and you can only overrule these limits with AI and other technologies.
Why AI? What's so different and unique about AI that it can make a difference in such a complex and well understood process that you've been running for years?
One of the things is that AI enables us to bring really good decisions. You have to get in the commissioning phase of such a line at the customer. And as I mentioned, the high complexity leads to high calculation power you need to get these decisions. And as well to convince people that it's not always anybody in responsibility to stand whole the day at the line to get the best output. It's more like that you have an intelligent automation phase where instead of disturbances in the real world, you get the best decisions all the day. And there is AI a very strong partner for it.
How do you determine which decision you can trust AI to make, and when you would want a human to be involved in selecting, making a final call? You also mentioned that time is important here. How do you make sure that humans are part of decision making given those short time frames?
Mm-hmm. Depends from the use cases. If I give you an example, for example, the inspection of bottles in the process, to steer the flow of it, it's very fast things, 30 milliseconds each bottle. That means 100,000 bottles an hour. Then you have very good data from cameras and from other sensors. Then it's possible to get the 100% accountability on the AI algorithm with a, let's say, validation algorithm as well. But for the whole complexity of a line where you have random disturbances like temperature, stops of any issues, the mesh bottles or something, at the moment it's not possible because the data situation is not good enough for it. So there you will have as well any supervisor, you have to stop the line and bring maybe some new bottles inside or change the products. Challenge.
So, okay, so you bring a really interesting point. It's not just the production, it's not just making or the machine running once it's installed. You actually have an engineering process, a design process for each of the customers, each of the new bottle types or each of the new runs.
Yeah.
Can AI help with that component, with the engineering component, through simulations, through making the designs better?
Absolutely. In our use case we present as well next year on the Hannover Messe, it's safe. We will show how an AI agent can give the best recommendations to parameterize or configure lines as well as bottles. Because when the line goes to the customer, it's not finished process. It's there for maybe 15 years. And in these 15 years, the customer orders retrofits, spare parts, any other services for updates in software. And for these whole questions after that, in the aftermarket, we will always get basing on this AI technology to get the best design for it.
That's an interesting way to think about what you deliver to those customers, because you've got a lot of history and those machines are not just brand new machines. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of legacy and changes that you need to manage with, etc. But it also means that you have people operating those machines that have been operating them for the last 20 years. So when you go and offer those new functions and new ways of thinking about how the machine operates to a customer, how do you convince an operator that's been running it for the last 20 years not to tell you that all this has been tried and really he knows how to do it? How do you overcome this hurdle?
If you go to a very big bottler where delivering the biggest companies on the world for beveraging, normally they are interested that you think about to get as less operators as possible, like more autonomous use and so on. And there it's more a convincing, hard to parameters to say, okay, if you have the best parameters of overall equipment effectiveness, then it's done. But if you go to medium or small beveraging companies, it's more like you say, you will have to battle with the experts, and the experts are very conservative, and then you have to convince them with a proof. And let's say 8 weeks ago on the biggest beveraging fair in the world in Munich, on the Drink Tech, we had from different customers, really people from operating at our place.
Yeah.
And in the first day they came and said, oh, we will have to see that. And on the second day, they sent the next group of people of the same customer because they were completely, let's say, fascinated. Because you have to imagine they stand hours and hours at these lines to get any complex situations tested out.
Yep.
And with our digital twin, they can see it early before with a coffee on the computer. A test is only a thing of minutes, not of hours or days in the production. And yeah, they are convinced when they see that it's working and that it's making their life easier. That's the proof and that's the idea to it.
A lot of innovation for the company has been operating for over 70 years.
Yes.
What does it mean? What does it mean and how does it shape itself over the next 3 or 5 years? What will Krones look like in 5 years, given the pace of innovation and adoption that you see today?
Our two main targets is sustainability and digitalization. That's official. And our slogan is Solutions Beyond Tomorrow, and that's what we do now. We try to get our lines on a next level. That means a lifecycle alliance. That means maximum of digitalization, connecting the whole areas of the line, getting them, let's say, remote steerable with remote updates and so on, to a high transparency for the customer.
Johannes, you have an amazing and fascinating job. Thank you so much for being on the Industrialist. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adam, for the interview. And I must really say, it's a very nice fair here, and let's do it again.